What up, y'all? It's your boy, One Sir Grove, OSGOE. That's One Sir Grove, VVT, and England. I'm chiming in on the Brexit situation again. I talked about it the other day. I'm just going to be very clear and to the point. By the way, if you're a fan of the show, if you support the show, I support you. I appreciate you. And that's on behalf of 495, as I am a member. So, getting to the point, as stated, looking at the news here, we're going to be looking at an article from, it looks like Business Insider. Yes, it is Business Insider with the headline title of article, Lead MPs Vote to Seize Control of Brexit from Theresa May. Again, the title of this article from Business Insider is MPs Vote to Seize Control of Brexit from Theresa May. And this was written by Adam Bienkov and Thomas Coulson. Don't know if I'm pronouncing those names correctly. Nonetheless, looking down through this article here, which, by the way, is excellent in my opinion, it says that... All right, so I don't know who of you have been following the Brexit situation. I have been opposed to Brexit. Brexit is stupid. It is illogical. It makes no logical, good, humane sense at all. It's not good for humanity. It is inhumane. It is inane. It is just crazy. It is absolutely blitheringly just wacky and not a smart thing. One of the things that I have seen the British Parliament do in the past year is go from being this aristocratic, high-level, intellectual pool, resource of human minds, this pool, this collective of these minds that go back and forth and exchange intellectually discourse, in this discourse of intellectualism. I have seen a downgrade in intellectualism among the British parliamentary system. I truly have. I've watched the British quabble and quarrel and go back and forth since I was a child watching television. And so I've seen their debates, heated debates, some more intense or less intense than others. And when I heard that the British government, someone therein, was contemplating leaving the European Union, I said, this is outrageously dumb. It's just plain silly, dangerous, reckless, and it is short-sighted. It is not smart. And who concocted this? Why would this be devised? Who came up with this idea? This is a harebrained idea / terrible plan. Bottom line, plain and simple, cut and dry. So, as some of you know, the British have been going, again, back and forth in this absurd debate as to whether the British, should remain members of the European Union, a member of the European Union, or leave. And what is very easy to deduce, infer from it all, surmise, quite frankly, is that somebody is just not thinking clearly, logically, because this move not only ignited this ridiculously, ludicrously, unnecessarily stupid thing, this thing, because that's what it is, it's a thing that has been ongoing. This quarrel that has been taking place has wasted the world's time, quite simply. So, one of the things to consider is that Britain, that is England, it in the past has largely been a socialist country. It really has been. Yes, you have people who are liberal. Yes, you have people who are conservative in every country on planet Earth. But I think that the English, they have been thought of, viewed as a socialist nation in a large way. And so the British, to leave a socialist program where they are no longer sociable, not really, I mean, they're not really sociable anymore. They're kind of anti-social, kind of anti-social in the context, in the hypothetical scenario of leaving the European Union. It seems kind of sort of like the antithesis of a union, of a European Union. I mean, what is a European Union without England, without the British? Seriously, I mean, it doesn't even jibe. It doesn't even make any sense. And so the logic, so-called logic, behind those who wanted to leave with the whole notion of a referendum, and with these votes, and because of security concerns, that's not how you handle business. You don't leave the Earth Federation, as in the Star Trek reference to the Earth unified nation-state governments of the world that work together in unison and harmony, peace, and so on and so forth in an accord. You don't leave that. So for someone in the British government to even suggest that England, being an integral part of the European Union, I mean, let's be honest. In the West, I think if you were to poll a lot of Americans from the Western Hemisphere and ask the average American, what's the very first country that comes to mind when you think of the European Union? They're going to be like, England? Because England is a big part of the European Union, as is every other nation state, every other union state member. Nonetheless, it just overall, the whole thing is, it's ridiculous. I mean, I think of all the different words that can be used to describe the situation. I think two words are best suited. Number one, ridiculous. Number two, reckless. And I would say there's a third, dangerous. Extremely dangerous. It's ridiculous, it's reckless, and extremely dangerous. And it's so simple. How could the British have ever even allowed for there to be a discussion that later morphed into, transformed into, metamorphosized, that is, morphed into, some notion that the English, the British, would leave the European Union? It's dumb. It is just plain crazy. So, reading this article, keeping this short, Theresa May, according to this source here, Business Insider, bringing this article back up, bear with me one moment. I got this article on Smart News, scanning the web for world news feeds. Oh, wow, Israel on alert after airstrikes on Gaza, DW. Okay, so let's see here. Where is the Business Insider article that I just had open here? Don't make me duplicate this effort here. Close this, close this, close this, close this, close this, close this, close, 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 close. Okay, reopen. All right, where is this? So basically what the article went on to say was that, as I'll summarize it for you, that now that Theresa May has been wrestled out of her position in terms of Brexit moving forward, as she had believed would be the case or had hoped would be the case, now there are several possibilities on the horizon. One of those possibilities is that there may be another referendum, which, in my view, is superb. That is magnificent. That is excellent. Because this thing, as I have said, it is a thing. This Brexit discussion, Brexit maneuver, move, this Brexit debate, this heated exchange, this historic event, possibility, it needs to end. It really does. And it really seems like some people within the British government have damn near lost their minds. They really have. This should not be something that is in any kind of process of government. So let's look at Rob's Rules of Order. And let's look up the concept of tabling. Table. Rob's Rules. Okay. Searching. Table. Parliamentary Procedure. Wiki. Jump to Robert's Rules of Order. Newly revised. All right. So, it says, under Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, the book used by most organizations, the subsidiary motion to lay on the table is properly used only when it is necessary to suspend consideration of a main motion in order to deal with another matter that has come up unexpectedly. So, tabling a main motion. How could this have ever even been a motion? Talk about the Mandela effect. Again, it is the antithesis of what England is supposed to be about, what it is supposed to stand for, what it is supposed to represent. Why on earth would anyone in their so-called right mind within the British government even suggest that the British, that is England, leave the European Union? It's preposterous. It's lunacy. It is something that could and would adversely affect global security. International / world for emphasis security. We cannot allow for this to occur. We cannot allow for this to happen. If we can do anything to prevent it, to stop it, to thwart the efforts of those who would otherwise just up and leave the European Union, you can't have a European Union without England. It just doesn't factor. It just doesn't make any kind of sense. So, the point is, in this podcast, I'm your boy, One Sir Grove, OSGOE. That's One Sir Grove of EVT and England. Point of this podcast, chiefly, largely, mostly, the main point is that today, what took place was a good thing. It was a great thing. And let's just hope, just broadcasting out into the universe with our wishful thinking and thus positive energy, focus of psychic, human, telepathic energy, let's just broadcast those of us who are all for in other words, the European Union continuing to consist of England. Let's just will that. If we can, let's try as we might. Let's try to keep England in the European Union. The European Union. Let's do that. Let's do it. It's imperative. Your boy OSGOE. One Sir Grove.